to stop? What is it that we discussed in the previous class?
Function.
The concepts. Function was swap, but the concepts that we discussed were, we talked about functions. And with respect to functions, what is it that we discussed? The different ways of passing variables between two functions. Okay? And what is the method that we would adopt in this course? Yeah. Reference parameters. We would use reference parameters to pass data between two functions. Okay? And then what else did we discuss? Constant. Wherever it is, it makes sense, we will use the CONST keyword specifier, okay, to mean that the value is not to be changed wherever it is possible. What else did we discuss? Yeah, what else? Okay, today we will extend the same thing. We will take up the swap function. We will consider the swap function. The way in which we wrote the swap function is int ampersand p comma int ampersand q. Okay, and here we will have the procedure to swap two numbers. Okay, and how would you call this function? Suppose I want to call it from main. If I have to call it from main, then let's say I'll say int x comma int y, swap x comma y. For this to compile, we will do the prototype definition. Swap int ampersand comma int ampersand, and this is how we will call the function. Okay. So the next concept that we will revise through is, now what if I want to swap two numbers a and b that are of type float, What do we do then? Will this work? Will this work? No. As it is, it will not work. So we will have to do a prototype definition once more, and then say float ampersand comma float ampersand, and then call the swap function passing a and b, then write one more definition. Okay. So with C++ we have a feature that will help us avoid these duplication. What is that? Template functions. So where would we use template functions? Wherever the task that is to be done is fixed, but the data is different. Okay? So in all such cases, we could make use of the concept of template functions. So now I want these lines to compile. Okay? For which we will have to do two prototype definitions and then write two different functions. We avoid that. So to avoid that, we will convert this function to a template function. So how would a normal function be different from a template function? Only one thing. The first line would be template. I'll underline the keywords. Okay, template, angle bracket. While valuing C++ scripts, I see many of you put, not many of you, some of you put flower brackets. It's not right, it matters. Maybe you are not executing it, but it really matters. This is the angle bracket. Then you would write class, which is again a keyword. Everything that I underline would mean that it is a keyword. Then give whatever you want. So I want to call the template data type as BMS. Okay. So the data type is not defined as int or float or char or double or struct or whatever. Okay. I am generically calling it BMS. Then I will have to make changes in the function. Now I can't be specific. Int ampersand and int ampersand. What do I have to change it to? BMS ampersand and BMS ampersand. Then in the however I write this first line, that should be the same as the prototype. So it is BMS ampersand and BMS ampersand here. Now will these two lines compile? Yes? Why no? Huh? Why wouldn't it compile? I want to swap x and y. Okay? What is this? When this line gets executed, there is a jump to this line. Program counter or program execution will come to this line. In place of BMS that I have written while I compiled the program, during runtime what will BMS be substituted with? Int and int. Okay? And then everything will happen. Control will come back to the next line. When this line is getting executed, the values of A and B are to be copied onto P and Q. Okay? So in case of BMS, what will the compiler replace it with? Float. So will the two lines compile? So for people who thought that it wouldn't compile, what was it? Why did you think it will not compile? I have told that the swap function can have any type of data. Okay? But I can't say that when I have to execute something. When I have to execute, I have to give the correct value. Okay? So this x and y now during runtime will get substituted with int for the first time and float for the second time. Now if I want to swap one int and one float, I am not worried about the precision. If 3.2 gets truncated to 3, I am okay, but I want it to happen. Can we do that? Can we swap an int? Now here, int and int, float and float. But if I want to swap int and float, could I do it? So what? Would I have to change anything here? Do I have to make changes here? Yes. Yes, we have to make changes. Suppose I will say x comma a and x comma y comma b. I want to swap like this. Will the same program work? No. So what is it that we have to do? BMS ampersand comma ECE ampersand. Yeah? Fine? So if I change there, I have to change here because both should always look the same. Yeah? This first line, comma, class ECE. Now will it work? Will it work? Yes, it will work. Suppose I will say x comma a. Then control will come here. BMS will be substituted with int. ECE will be float. Next time also BMS is int. ECE will be float. Suppose I want to swap b comma y. Will it work or should I make any change? It will work. This is the advantage of template functions. So any functions that we write, we will make it generic type. Okay? We will not say int or float or whatever. We will only use templates wherever possible.
In this case, I understand that you have just done it for the purpose of showing, but if x and a are two different data types, if we swap those two data types, the one with the higher resolution will obviously get truncated. So, won't that defeat the purpose of the resolution function?
No. I told you. I put the disclaimer first. I am not worried about the resolution of the numbers. I really don't care 3.2 getting truncated to 3. But I want the values to be swapped. That was my idea. Otherwise, definitely it is there. One has to be judicious. Now, according to my wish, that I stated, I really don't mind losing the decimal part. But no matter whatever numbers I give, whatever type of data, they have to be swapped. That is all. I am only interested in seeing the data swapped. It's fine. Otherwise, yes, it is. So the functions will all be template functions that we write. Is that clear? Now, how many types can we have? As much as you want. Okay? And the procedure is the same. Okay. To write a template function, is it compulsory for us to have a class definition? With this one, I have not defined any class now. Only so much. My idea was to have a template function to swap two numbers, and I have written it from whatever I knew from C also. The C template is a new thing of C++ that we have incorporated. But will it work without a class definition? Yes, it will. It is not compulsory to have a class definition, but still, when you were in some scripts I saw, when it was asked to write a template function, people always define a template class and then a function inside it. It's not to be done. Just do what is required. Nobody will pay you money for writing extra codes. People will pay you more if you can write less codes for the same function. Okay? So template function, it's a standalone concept. You don't have to tie it with a template class. It's not compulsory. This is clear? Yeah. So the functions, we will use reference parameters, we will use constant liberally, and then everything will be template judiciously. Okay, so this is with respect to functions. Now, when we talk about templates, there are template functions and there are template classes. Where would template classes be used? Application. What is the application? What is a template class? Where we need to use generic data type, there we would have a template class. More clearly, I would say, suppose I tell you, create a database for me to store 50 data items. Then what concept will you use? You use the concept of an array. Okay, isn't it? Or you use an array of structures. Correct? But as of now, even I don't know what is the type of data. Array of what you will ask me. What type of data? But as of now, I don't have an answer. Suppose I ask you to write a program to create a database for me, which means a possibility of storing and retrieving that much data. And in a database, what are the common operations that you would want to do?
Sum, average, mean.
No, sum, average, mean is not common. You store and retrieve, correct? You have data, you store it because you know someday you want to retrieve it. So store and retrieve are definitely there. Are there any other things? You have so much of data on your laptops. What?
Sort
Also not a search.
Insert.
Okay, search, insert, delete. These are some of the common operations that you want to do. Now if I ask you to search a database, that database could be a database of audio files or it could be student records. It can be anything. But will the method of searching be different? You start looking at the first data and then sequentially go to second, third, fourth, fifth data like that. Isn't it? Let it be audio file or let it be a student database and you want to look for one student details. The method or the operations that you do for search is the same. Okay? So wherever want to create databases, it makes sense to create template, use the template data types, because now when you have developed a search algorithm, that algorithm can be used to search an audio file or to search a student database or to search words, whatever. It's the same procedure. Okay. So in this course, all the classes that we develop will be template classes only. Okay. So we'll just revise through how to write or how to develop a generic class or a container class. Suppose I want you to store 50 data items, or a database in which you have to perform basic operations on 50 data. Okay. So suppose I'll call it class database DB, and you should have a feature to store, or you should have a provision to store 50 data items and then perform some basic operations. So under public you would write insert, delete, search, whatever operations you want. This is how your class would look like. What is most important is something that we have not done. We have to store the data. Okay. Now if it is 50, then say data of 50. For this to compile, you need to specify the type of data. Okay. You should say int, float, char, whatever. Now if I don't know as a user as of now what the type of data is, then we could make it generic type like we did it for a swap function. So how would we do that? The first line would always be template angle bracket class, give it some name. I'll give it XYZ. Okay. Now use that XYZ here. Use the XYZ here. Now this class is got some data, and this class also has some member functions. Correct? Is it compulsory for the member functions of a template class to be of template type? No, there is no such restriction. The member functions need not be template functions. It can be also. So it is all need basis, but there is no compulsion anywhere. Okay? Why did we use this? Because we don't know, we don't want to be very specific about the type of data. Let the data type be whatever, the way in which we store a data or we retrieve a data is going to be the same. Allocate memory location and store it there, or go to that memory location and get the data back, read the data back. This procedure is the same, no matter what the data is. So we brought in this generic nature here, but there is no compulsion. Mostly these member functions are there to let us operate on the data, right? So mostly they will be template, but it is not a compulsion. Okay. Now by doing this, by writing this, have we set aside any memory for to store data elements? No. So we would have set memory location only when we declare a variable of this type. So of the class DB, we will create a variable. What's the variable of a class called? Object. So how would you create an object? Give it some name. Of type DB, I will say tell me something.
OBJ.
Huh?
OBJ.
OBJ. Yeah, OBJ. Of type DB. DB is a class. Of type DB, we will create an object OBJ. Okay? So this OBJ obj internally will have an array called data. Okay, this this obj, which is an object of type db, will have an array data. Okay, now is this enough? Is this correct? It's incomplete. See, at the time of creation, at the time of creating the program, writing the program, we are not specific about the data. But during execution, definitely we will have data, right? If you don't have data, then there is no point of execution. Okay? So, this is incomplete. Of type db, angle bracket, now you will have to specify what type of data. I will say char. Okay? So, this array will be an array of 52 characters. So the amount of memory that will be set aside will be based on what you give here. So this is compulsory. When you create an object, you cannot be ambiguous there. When you create an object, you will have to specify the data type. Is this clear? So what will happen during execution? This is just a blueprint. Execution will start from here. Yeah? And when this has to be executed, this is created, in place of xyz, char will be substituted. Then of type db, angle bracket in obj1. Possible? Possible? Yes or no? Yes, because obj will hold an array of character. obj1 will have an array of int. obj will have an array. obj1 also will have an array. This will be to hold int. This will be to hold character array. Fine? Any doubts? Can we have a template class of two types? Like in the function example, we had a function with two types. Can we have classes also in which we have two types, xyz, class abc? Possible? Why would we have it? It depends on what application we are writing. Okay? This exercise we all have done in the C++ class. For others, now can you convert this, the same thing, wherein you template the size of the array also. The size of the array can be 10,000, 1 lakh, just 200. Okay? Now here we have templated only for the type of data of the array. I want the size of the array also to be templated. Do it. With that, whatever change that is required in this program,